Yeah, 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 yeah. This the Brad and Memory Show. Yeah, this the Brad and Memory Show. Yeah, this the Brad and Memory Show. Yeah, this the Brad and Memory Show. In the field with my dogs, like the Sixers, we gon' ball. Wake up early in the morning, tune in anytime at all. Hard time, all season, don't believe in off seasons. Watch the Phillies, watch the Flyers, and the Eagles on the weekends, yeah. This is not your ordinary radio show. Ain't just talking sports, we be talking about the culture. All across the globe, anything you wanna cover. This is for the fans, no one for our front runners. This the Brad and Memory Show. Yeah, 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 yeah. You know the vibes.
Yes, sir. You know the vibes. Brad Emery Show. Marques Brad, Justin Emery.
Yo.
Sweep.
Got the broom. I got the broom. I got the broom. Got the broom out here.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Sixers do exactly what need to be done. I go right to games 3 and 4 because that's, to me, what shows you that, they have a shot against Boston. Those are 2 games that they would have lost last year, the year before that. Those were not wins at all. A lot of adversity in both games. Game 3, you had the adversity. James Harden gets kicked out in the third quarter. All the stuff with Embiid, and that's where Embiid sprains his knee. He's gimpy. The Nets were doing. I mean, that's game 3 to me. Really, when we go down 2-0 in a series, and it shifts back to that other venue, that's when you're going to get everything in the kitchen sink from the team. And that's what the Nets gave you. That they gave you everything possible. And you had guys step up that need to step up. And, Tyrese Maxey, his balls dropped in game 3. That was his bar mitzvah. He's a man now. And, he took over that game at the end of that game. Really, the last 2 minutes just said, listen, we're not losing this game. And that's what you're going to need going forward in this next series. Game 4, you had a great game from Tobias Harris, who's played great all series, extending his playoff Toby from last season, which in my opinion last season I thought he was the most consistent playoff performer in both rounds. He played well. You had a good game again from Maxey. Harden plays well. DeAnthony Melton with some timely buckets. This is different. This is different. It's different because for the first time, I can sit here and say the Sixers have everything they need to compete for an NBA championship. Every component is there, which got to make you feel good.
They are missing one thing: a healthy Embiid.
Well, I think we'll get into that knee injury. I don't think this one is not nearly as significant as the ones from years previous. I think he's going to be okay.
I'm going to make the assumption then that you did not see the John Clark tweet earlier today. Then
today,
maybe an hour ago.
No, I didn't.
All right, let me pull it up word for word because he had a diagnosis on Embiid.
It's like I know. Last time I heard it was an LCL sprain.
I read it real quick, on my phone. Let me pull it up on my computer just so I can read it word for word.
All right. While you're doing that, the Nets were never really. Obviously, they were never really a challenge to the Sixers. We knew they were not going to be the Nets, but if you look at this team over the last couple of years, it would have been, they would have won it in 5, maybe played around 1 in 6. They got right to it and got them out of here in 4. Got a nice week off, going into what's going to be, the series to end all series. Did you pull it up yet?
Yeah, I got it right here.
All right, what are you saying?
Source confirms Joel Embiid has a sprained LCL. He will have to wear a brace on his knee when he returns. Team will explore surgery in the offseason. There's hope that he will be able to play in the second round.
Yeah, I don't think this is a big deal. I think knee sprains really are, this is something that he could definitely perform with. A brace, I think he'll be fine. The nice thing about this is that you got the Nets out of the way. You're going to give it a week. I've already heard the swelling has gone down. He's moving around okay on it. He'll be fine. This is not, we go back and you look at the things that's happened to him in the past, the injuries had in the past. Like, you go back to 2018, left orbital fracture and concussion. 2019, he had the tendonitis. 2021, torn right meniscus. 2022, torn right thumb ligament and the orbital fracture and concussion. So this is, out of all of those things, this is the least of those things. I think he'll be fine. And also, too, the supporting cast is just way better. Like, it was so nice and refreshing that we don't have to rely on guys like Shake Milton and Furkan Korkmaz and guys of that nature, Amir Johnson, DeAndre Jordan. We don't have to worry about that stuff anymore because we have competent backups. We're bringing off the bench DeAnthony Melton. We're bringing George Niang off the bench. We're bringing Paul Reed off the bench. We are bringing pieces that actually can help and enhance talent around it. And also, for the first time in this run, you have Joel Embiid surrounded by knockdown jump shooters. You have a plethora of guys that if he's double team, triple team, they're going to make you pay. And the Sixers did that all series. Really, the story of the series is the Nets were saying, listen, Joel Embiid is not going to beat us. Fine. He's not going to beat you, but guess what? You still went down 4-0 because you allowed the Sixers to shoot the ball. Harden can make that open jump shot. Maxey can make an open jump shot. Paris can make an open jump shot. DeAnthony Melton, George Niang, P.J. Tucker can't. He's not as consistent as those guys, but he can make an open jump shot. They didn't have these stuff in the past, so that's why, I look at going forward as we look forward to Boston. I mean, listen, the series is not over, but obviously they're going to close out tonight. Come on, but as we look forward to that series, people who are saying the Sixers have no shot. I'm just confused by that take. First of all, I look at a no shot as I looked at, the Sixers Nets series. The Nets had absolutely no shot of beating the Sixers. That's why I lost 4-0. If you're telling me the Sixers have no shot, you're telling me they're going to get swept. That's what you're pretty much saying. I don't see it that way. I believe, I really do in my heart of hearts believe the Sixers will beat the Celtics in this series. I think they will do it. I think this is different. I feel like don't let the frustration of everything else that's out around this team fool you about how good this squad is. Two things. Number one, this squad, after a slow start, ended the season going 42-16 quietly. This squad also has the most wins since they went to the finals in 2001, 54 wins in the season. And you saw what they just did to the Nets. Obviously, we know the Nets are an impressive team, but it is impressive to sweep anybody. It's really hard to beat an NBA team, an NBA team 4 times in a row. That's a hard thing to do. I don't care how bad you are. That's a difficult thing to do. And they did it. So I look at this. I think they are ready for the challenge of Boston. You saw, there's a lot of talk about P.J. Tucker and what his impact would be. And a lot of people are getting frustrated with him in the regular season. Well, this is what you got him for. That $30 million you paid him, it's for now. And you saw so many times how he created so many extra possessions for the Sixers. Offensive rebounds, loose balls, tough defense. So you got that dog there. DeAnthony Melton, another dog. The Sixers, I feel, in previous years, I think it's fair to say, were a little intimidated by the Boston Celtics. I think that environment, I think the Celtics, and in general, the toughness of the Celtics, that intimidated the Sixers. They didn't have the guys. This year, I feel like they have the guys. We have it. There's nothing this team is lacking. Nothing they don't have. So I'm excited. I love the fact they got out of the first round, really, really quickly. Got that week. It looks like it's going to start Saturday night. Look, it was going to start.
That's what I keep hearing as well.
Yeah, if everything goes well tonight and then Boston takes care of business, we go Saturday night. And I'm excited. Like I said, I think this is it. I really do.
I hope so. I hope you're right. The week off is big. Mm-hmm. Cannot possibly overstate that. The week off is big. I like the fact that the series for the Celtics went at least 5.
Mm-hmm.
Like you had said before, we had hoped that it would have been the Heat playing them.
Yeah.
And since the NBA doesn't know how to handle seeding and they don't reseed, I think the Heat are going to take the Bucks. They're up 3-1.
I don't.
You think the Bucks will win running off?
Yes. Yeah, this is like, listen, it's always fun seeing Jimmy Butler do Jimmy Butler things, but you're asking him. The guy scored 56 points. He only won by 5.
Yeah.
So let's just do that math real quick. If he scores 30, which probably is a reasonable number for him, they lose by double digits. That's a bad sign. Middleton played terrible. Holiday was awful. I don't expect that at all for the rest of the series. They have the championship pedigree. If they lose to this team, I don't know, because listen, it took a miracle of miracle Jimmy Butler performances to get this done. He went absolutely nuclear for this to happen. And you're asking because look at the rest of that team. When Tyler Hero went down, if Tyler Hero was healthy, I'd be with you. When he went down, I was like, there's no way they're going to win this series. I mean, I'm shocked. I'm shocked that they've won this many games, but I don't see it.
I'm really hard pressed to believe that. Now, I understand they did it I think last year or 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hard pressed to believe they're going to run off 3 straight, including one of those games being played in Miami.
Yeah, I mean, listen, logic and easy math tells you it's going to be a uphill climb, but I just look at the Bucks and how good they are. And I look at this Heat team, and I don't see it. You're gonna okay. So is Jimmy Butler going to give you another 50 spot in the series at this point? You got to think Budenholzer is going to wake up and say, okay, Jimmy Butler's not going to beat us anymore. It's not happening. We're going to let Gabe Vincent beat us. We're going to let Max Strus beat us. If Duncan Robinson hits 13 threes, okay, we lose the game. But we're not going to let Jimmy Butler just get to his spots and do whatever he wants. And that's basically what they did. They didn't run any double teams at him. They let him go single coverage. Now, the Bucks have, Giannis and Drew Holiday are really good elite defenders, but it wasn't working. And at no point did they adjust and send help over that way, which I think that's not going to happen for the rest of the series. If Jimmy Butler starts going off because really, I don't know if you watched the entire game, but the Bucks really lost that game in the first quarter. They went up 17-5 and was ready to blow them out of the building. And then you allowed Jimmy Butler to just do whatever he wanted. 20 in the first quarter and gets them back in the game. And if you allow, listen, with anything, it's logical. If you allow teams to believe, they start to believe, guys start to hit shots, and then, it goes from there. And then the fourth quarter, you had them down again. I think they were down as many as 14 in the fourth quarter. And you allow Butler again to go nuclear. Like I said, you don't send help there. You don't double him. And you allow him to just take over the game. And he's a great player. Don't get me wrong. And obviously what he did, one of the greatest playoff performances ever. However, I feel like it could be avoided a little bit if you did some different things to try to disrupt this game a little bit.
I need to see the Bucks go down though.
Great.
That would open up a.
Oh my God, yeah, because now you're looking at probably Heat Knicks.
Yeah.
And who cares who wins there because you're better than both those teams.
Don't matter.
So really it's Boston and Philly for the Reds to go to the finals.
Until I see it, I can't. I hope that they'll win. Embiid is the best player in that series.
Yeah.
Followed probably by Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, probably number 3 would be Jaylen Brown. Then Tyrese Maxey or James Harden, depending on which one you prefer to put there.
Yeah.
But when you have the best player in the series, especially in basketball, so much more so in basketball than any other sport, if you have the best player, you should win the series.
And also, too, I will say Tobias Harris, low-key, does a pretty good job on Jason Tatum. He actually guards him pretty well. And that's something, too, that, with his length and size, he can frustrate Jason Tatum a little bit. Jason Tatum hasn't really, if you look back through the past 5 years, other than his rookie year in that playoff run, he destroyed the Sixers. However, after that, and Tobias Harris wasn't a member on that team, but since 2019 and now, I can't think of any too many 35, 40-point Jason Tatum games against the Sixers. Jaylen Brown, on the other hand, he destroys Sixers. He's one that definitely going to keep an eye on. But Tatum, the Sixers have done a pretty good job keeping him constrained.
Do you remember a couple of years ago when they signed um, Marco Bellinelli
Mhm.
and the other guy, I can't remember his name.
Igosolia.
Yeah,
Igosolia. No, I'm not saying his name right.
you
Just,
you you
I don't,
we're talking about the same guy though.
yes.
You obviously know who I'm
Yeah,
talking.
it was the 18 run. It was their
Yeah,
first playoff run.
was it 18?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So do you remember when there was at one point in time, Bellinelli and Goran Dragic are face to face
Hmm.
yelling at each other. And I so was hoping that they were yelling at each other in a foreign language, just using words that
That was the Heat series, yeah.
that we don't even have, translations for.
That was
It was
the same series when Gordon Dragic smacked Ben Simmons in the back of the head as he was running by.
yeah,
Just smacked him upside the head.
and I was really disappointed to find out though that they were actually yelling at each other in English.
Hmm. Yeah, that's disappointing.
But I bring that up because I need a face-to-face encounter, and I need audio of it. Marcus Smart, PJ Tucker.
Yeah, and it's just that's the thing too, is having a
And
guy like
for
that.
a whole series, Amber can continue to hate
Marcus Smart, yeah.
Marcus Smart.
Yeah, back to that. Yeah. The Amber Brad and Marcus Smart beef. um yeah, like that's good.
I
But
don't even
that's
think
the
he
thing,
knows
like,
he has beef.
yeah, that's the thing that they didn't in the past we didn't have, is that we didn't have guys like that, dogs. Like Peter Tucker's a dog, D'Anthony Melton's a dog. Like those guys that, like, we're ready to go to war. Jordan Yang's a dog. Like he'll get in somebody's face. Like, like, and like those type of elements
See, the
you're
thing
gonna
about
need
though,
in
like
Boston.
George Niang though, is how you have those friends of yours that they can't fight but they're willing to.
Yeah.
That's George Niang.
Yeah.
He'll be there, but he's getting jumped first.
Right. Right.
But
Right.
you still respect it. But
Yeah.
he's useless.
No.
Somebody's gonna crush him.
1000%. But yeah, like, and Embiid's never had the level of support he's gonna have. But listen, don't get it twisted. Boston is a great,
Paul.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't get it twisted. Boston's a great team. They really are. The rich got richer. Derek White's turned into a great player for them. The sixth man of the year, Malcolm Brogdon off their bench. Like they're loaded, and we know this. However, so are we. So are we. We're loaded also. So, listen, I'm really excited about this series. And, for the first time, in this run, I'm not just saying it. I really feel confident. Well, the Hawks series, I felt confident too, but we know why. But
Yeah.
again, like, the Ben Simmons thing, like I always say, that was one. But 1A was that bench. That bench was awful. It was absolutely awful. They brought that bench.
Can I
And
get your take on some of Ben's fits during the series?
Ben's the MVP of fits. That's what he does best. Ben
Are
puts
you all
up
right with
30.
those giant hoodies? Like, what are those? Are they
Yeah,
tunics?
people are the giant oversized hood. Yeah, it's a wild look. It's wild.
Is that also Louis Vuitton? Probably.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah. Um yeah, I'm excited about where this goes. I really think they have a great shot, and we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Obviously, the best case scenario is get one up in Boston. I always like to get game one. That's always for me priority. When you're on the road, get that game one, put that pressure on them immediately. Immediately put it on them. And game one is a nice one for them to get, because they're gonna be well rested. And sometimes you catch teams sleep, and that's that second round of game one. So that's what I'm hoping. They go out there and they get that game. And then at that point, you just hold serve.
What do you do if they lose the series?
I mean, it depends how they lose the series. If they go down in 7 games,
And it's a war.
and it's a war, and game 7, they lose in like the last minute of the game, or it goes to overtime, what can you do? How upset can I be? Boston's a great team.
What do you do about like a 4-1?
That's not good. That's not good at all. If they lose 4-1, they get swept. That's not good. For me, theoretically, for me to be satisfied, I need 7. Barring anything catastrophic, some crazy injury, I need 7. I think 7 is 7 is needed. It's got to be 7. It's got to be 7 because I think the Sixers are good enough to beat this team, and if they lose in anything other than 7, it means they weren't good enough to beat this team. And then what do we do? I think they do. Like, we're gonna have to have guys just not show up, and for everything I've seen, I mean the one guy I guess you can worry about a little bit is James Harden because he has a history of lackluster playoff performances. Especially as the rounds get deeper in the play, we get deeper in the rounds.
Because I think
play dwindles.
I think other than Embiid, the rest is going to help him so much.
Yeah,
like you saw what it looked like that last week off before
Yeah.
Game 1 against the Nets.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's going to come out and hit 7
threes.
threes,
Yeah, 7.
and 13 assists or whatever he had.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can expect that, but I think that the earlier in the that's why, back to what the point you just made, Game 1, I think Harden, as the later the series goes, the more he's going to be a liability. But they've definitely spread the series out more this year.
Yeah.
So hopefully I think
we got Saturday, Monday, Thursday.
Sounds accurate.
Saturday,
Thursday,
Monday, Thursday, Saturday,
Saturday,
Monday or Tuesday,
Monday, Tuesday, and then
Thursday, Sunday, Game 7.
Yeah,
that's what it seems like it's probably going to be, which is perfect. You get those nice rest days. Yeah, so it's positive vibes around the Sixers right now.
And I think it'd be fair to say if the Sixers win the series, I don't think they're going to do it in less than 6 games.
No, it's going to be
a good team. Like they'll win games. So
I think 6. I think 6 is the magic number for them because then you get to close out at home. I mean, listen, Game 7 at the TD Garden is not a place I want to be.
No,
it's not what you want to do. So it's very important that you win a game there earlier, either games 1, 2, or 5, and then be able to close out at Wells.
Yeah.
But then you also have to win all your games at Wells, which is also a difficult task because it's a really good team. So yeah, that's the formula for success where I'm concerned. Now, I do believe. Listen, I love the way Doc gets a lot of criticism in this town. And I love the things he was saying to them. Game 3, they did. I think it was the third quarter. They did one of those inside the huddle, and he looked at them and he said, "You guys want this easy? You guys want it easy? This is the playoffs. It's going to be tough. It's going to be hard." And he really got in their ass a little bit about getting tough and playing tough. And he was right because I was getting really, the exploits were flying in that third quarter Game 3. I was highly upset. One of my criticisms with Joel Embiid is that when he is hurt, he's sad.
Oh yeah.
He's a mopey mope. And what he fails to realize, and what he's always failed to realize, is that his mopiness seeps out to the rest of the squad.
Yep.
And that's something he needs to work on. And I hope someone puts their arm around him and says, "You're a big fella. Listen, man, your energy radiates to everyone else. When you're in a positive space, they're in a positive space." But he was mopey mope. He's Mopey Joe. And Mopey Joe is not the Joe we want to see. And he was doing a lot of that in the third quarter. He got together in the fourth quarter, and he had that huge block down the stretch. And, they were able to finish it off. But, you saw Doc's frustration. And Doc really did a good job, I thought, conveying that to them and saying, "Yo, what are you guys doing? This is an NBA team. We got to go get this thing." And, they did. So I give him against Missoula, I give him the advantage. Missoula's never been there before. This is his first year. He's kind of thrown in this at the Ime Udoka situation, who looks like, by the way, he's going to be the new coach of the Houston Rockets. He's been kind of thrown in the fire. He's not to be trusted. So I give Doc the coaching advantage unless proven otherwise. Last time he's played Celtics in the playoffs, we're going to get Brad Stevens, who's a hell of an X and O's guy. Very, very great, very, very good coach. And he actually did some things to frustrate the Sixers that Brett Brown couldn't counter.
I mean, let's just say Brad Stevens was the initial downfall of Ben Simmons.
Yes.
He's the one that really came up with the blueprint about what to do to him.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. And then in the bubble, they get swept by the Celtics. I think that was Brad Stevens' last year or Ime Udoka's first year. One of the two.
I think it was Stevens last year.
Yeah, he gets swept in the bubble. So, listen, like this is I think Doc has a coaching advantage here. I think he, has obviously he's been around forever. And, I expect him to outcoach Missoula. I think that's a fair thing to say. And then let the rest fall where they may. Let the rest fall where they may. I'm interested to see how the Celtics play Embiid. What they're because they've never really, if you watch them in the regular season, now obviously it's different in the playoffs, but they didn't really double team him a lot the regular season. Excuse me. They didn't really double team a lot during the regular season. They didn't really see that at all. So I'm interested to see how they play him, if they're going to throw someone at him and dare the Sixers shooters to beat him. I don't think they're the Nets. I agree with Charles Barkley. I don't know if you heard what we were saying about the Nets. That defense was wild. I don't know what they were doing.
Oh yeah,
it didn't make any sense at all. They were just randomly throwing double and triple teams at him, and just.
Well, he said something at one point in time. He goes, "You don't send double teams just for the sake of sending a double team." He goes,
It was better in Game 3. They did. I thought their double teams were a little better, where they were kind of like letting him catch and then coming to his blind side. Game 1 and 2 was just horrible double teams. I don't know what they were doing. But listen, I get it. Jacques Vaughn was literally trying to do anything he can to stay competitive. Actually, I thought they did a pretty good job competing. I don't think the Nets embarrassed themselves in that series. For the lack of talent they had, I feel like they competed, and they went down, but like it wasn't like a laugher. I think Jacques Vaughn and the Nets should be proud of that. They actually competed. But anyway, yeah, looking forward to it. I mean, I don't really have much more to say about it, but I'm really looking forward to
Games 1 and 2. Look out west for a second?
Yes, please.
I'm just going to run. So I haven't watched a single second of the Denver Minnesota series.
I've watched actually a couple games of that.
Have you? I know
Anthony Edwards is going to be a problem.
Well,
he's going to be an absolute problem. Like, it's a shame that he plays in Minnesota because like people would love him. He's like Shohei Ohtani. Like, he's not getting that TV time that he should be getting, but he's a special player. Special player.
Yeah, haven't watched a single second of that. Phoenix and Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, let's save that for last.
How about Russ? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, let's save that for last. Let's save that one for last. Golden State, Sacramento. Let's start.
Has been as fun as it was advertised to be. Is a shame about the Aaron Fox situation. Looks like he won't be playing tomorrow night.
He said he's going to try. He said he's going to try to go.
Yeah, but I mean, I mean, even if he does, it's not gonna. I mean, a fractured finger in your shooting hand. That's not ideal.
Yeah, they said he broke the tip and the knuckle on his shooting hand.
Yeah, that's not ideal. He's gonna listen. He's gonna try to give it a go, but come on, that's not gonna work out in your favor. It sucks because like this has kind of been his coming out party. The Kings have played. I mean, listen, it's been a really, really fun series. The Warriors are gonna win this series. It didn't matter if De'Aaron Fox got hurt or not. I think the experience of just the Warriors is just gonna shine through, and you kind of saw that, especially down the stretch Sunday afternoon, where the Kings, Darius Burke was literally calling them out for their shot selection. It was really, really bad, panic decisions. Not great execution down the stretch at all for them, and that's why Golden State ends up pulling that game out. Even though you have Steph Curry with the brain fart with the Chris Webber timeout, but they survived that obviously. So it looks like it's setting up for round 2, Warriors Lakers, which will be fun.
The best Doris Burke moment of the week/weekend though was what she said about Dylan Brooks.
Yeah. I mean, Dylan Brooks has been getting itched on by pretty much everyone for his disrespect, rightfully so, for his disrespectful comments to LeBron James calling him old, which wasn't it.
He goes, he's old, and I poke the bear. Then he gets like LeBron goes crazy the next 2 games, and then Dylan Brooks is, they're painting me out to be a villain. Come on, man.
Yeah, you got. Well, here's the thing with Memphis, and this is a lesson they're going to have to learn. Now they're down 3-1. They're probably going to lose the series. Is you need to shut up at the end of the day, like just because you guys are now starting to look like fools. Like I love Ja Morant. I love the intensity of that team. I love how hard they play. I love how they compete. I love how they're not scared of anybody. But at some point, the winning needs to match up with that. Like Ja talking early in the season, how we good in the West, basically saying nobody could challenge us. They walk around with that bravado. You got to back that up. You want to be the bad boy Pistons, you got to have the rings to back it up. And it's not matching up. And now this is your third playoff run. And, last year the Timberwolves series was a mess. You were fortunate to beat them. And then the Warriors take you out in 6 after you talked all that junk to them. And now it looks like you're going out in the first round to a 7 seed, a team that was a playoff team. Now, listen, if you listen to the show, I predicted the Lakers are going to make a run. I think the Lakers post All-Star break is a very different squad than pre. This is one of the best defensive teams in the league, folks. And they got a bunch of role players that are coming live. I said Austin Reeves is a guy that people are going to get to know very, very well. And you now are seeing he was a leading scorer last night for them. Rudy Hachimura has been incredible for them this series, but he not only has been a good shooter for them, he has that length that helps them out. The reacquisition of D'Angelo Russell was huge, and he pays dividends last night. As last night they go down 7 with about 4 minutes to go, and D'Angelo Russell comes out and hits 3 threes in a row after a timeout to give him a lead. They get an overtime, and then LeBron does LeBron things. And how about the fact that he gets the and one on Dylan Brooks to basically seal it? There's certain guys you just don't talk to like that, and you don't. And LeBron's done too much in this league. He's too much of a pillar of this league to be disrespected by a Dylan Brooks. Like it's just unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And you're getting and what's happening is the basketball gods don't like that, and that's why you're getting taken to the woodshed in round 1 of the NBA playoffs.
Yeah, it's going to be wild, but not as wild as Kawhi Leonard.
Okay, so I don't want to. You know me. I don't like when I hear someone else say something. I like to give them credit. Stephen A. Smith made an excellent point about Kawhi Leonard on First Take.
Yep,
he said the thing that's weird about Kawhi is that, like, with most guys, like for Paul George, for instance, Paul George, when he got hurt and sprained his knee, twisted his knee, we saw it. We literally saw it with our own eyes. We saw him get hurt.
I mean, we saw the vicious Paul George injury.
You saw it like Embiid the other night. Even though it's annoying, these things keep happening in Embiid playoff time. You're seeing in real time these injuries. You're seeing them happen, right? You saw Pascal Siakam go across his head with his elbow. You saw Markelle Fultz run into him and break his orbital bone. You saw these injuries. With Kawhi Leonard, it's so weird because it's like he'll go out and drop 38, and you'll be like, man, Kawhi, that's crazy. And then he'll come out like a day later, like he sprained his ACL, and you're like, what? When did that happen? That's why it's a hard thing because, like, this knee sprain. So he plays game 1.
Didn't he play all 48 minutes?
In game 1 or game 2?
I think he played all 48 in both.
So game 1, So game 1,
I'll check
they upset the Suns. He's a great game. Hits 2 huge threes down the stretch to win the game. Game 2, the valiant effort. They end up losing. And, he walks off the court and everything's fine. And then all of a sudden it's like, he's out for the rest of the series. He sprains. What? Now, granted, we know Kawhi has bad knees. We know that. But it's just like these things that keep happening to him. It's like we're not seeing it. So we're not saying it's not happening, but it's like, can you please, when did this happen? Can you talk about when this happened? Another thing Stephen A. pointed out, I thought was brilliant, is that you don't get the payoff with Kawhi Leonard as a traditional superstar. Like, he's not a great representation of your franchise. Like, he doesn't go out and do the media stuff. He's not going to go out. He's not going to go out, and talk to the fans, and he's not that type of personality. And he also demands a lot from his organizations. Like, he asks them for a lot, and you're not getting the payoff of it because he's never healthy. So it's just like Stephen A. called him like the worst, like one of the worst superstars of all time.
He's the worst superstar you could have.
Yeah, and he's not wrong for all of these reasons I just mentioned. Like, if you're Ty Lue, you'll be pulling your hair out. Like, and it's like you're okay. You're going back to LA. The series tie 1-1. You're feeling good, and you get a phone call. Hey, Kawhi's not gonna be able to go. Spring. What? What? What do you mean? Because usually for a coach, even a coach sees it and says, "Okay, that was bad."
Well, here's the thing: is that so? I'm not sure where Kobe's palace was in LA, but I know he took the helicopter to the Lakers practice facility. It was well known that he would take a helicopter around LA.
Yeah.
I don't really know where he lived though around the LA area.
Mm-hmm.
Kawhi lives in San Diego. Like Kawhi takes a helicopter from San Diego every day. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to San Diego, Marcus, or if you've ever been to LA.
Like 3 hours from LA, something like
It's about the drive time from here to Baltimore, maybe here to DC.
Okay.
Give or take. So somewhere between Baltimore and DC, give or take. But
Probably
way worse.
To an hour.
What was that?
Like 45 minutes to an hour on a helicopter.
I'd say about that.
Okay.
Obviously there's no traffic, so you're going straight from destination to destination.
Right.
But I mean, think about that. Your star player lives in a different market 2 hours away.
Right.
2.5 hours. I mean, think about it like this. What if Jalen Hurts lived in Arlington, Virginia?
Yeah.
But he came up here for practice every day.
Right.
But then he went back to Arlington, Virginia. You would say
you go back to that commercial, that New Balance commercial when he first went to the Clippers, and this is Kawhi Leonard, this is my city, and he's driving around the drop top through LA, but you're not in LA.
You're not in LA.
You're not there, and that's a little weird. Like you said, you're not even close to LA.
Yeah, no, he lives. I forget. So I've actually driven through the neighborhood, not since he's lived there, years ago. I've driven through the neighborhood he lives now.
Mm-hmm.
Because Bill Gates has a house there. That's the kind of people he's surrounded with there.
Yeah.
And you have all the money in the world, you have all the rights to do it. He's a 2-time champion. He's a made man.
Right.
But you what gives you that lifestyle?
Right. Yeah. And I'm interested to see what his teammates think of him. I don't know anything. I'm not in the locker room, but I can't imagine you have a high opinion of him. And it's this is a series. What
do you think Russ specifically? What do you think Russ thinks about him?
Well, knowing Russ the way he is, I can't think he thinks highly of him. And by the way, Russ is playing unbelievable. We're getting 2017 Russ in the series. He's been insane, and it sucks because I can't remember if I said this on the show or not, but I thought the Clippers were going to win the series. I liked them a lot, and one of the reasons I liked them, I thought Russ was going to have a big series. Russ, obviously, we know how he takes things personally. He has going against Durant. I think he's made some incredible defensive plays. He's been really good offensively. Game 3, and Game 4, if Kawhi is healthy, they win those games. Norman Powell scored 42 in Game 3. Russ had 30 in Game 4. If a healthy Kawhi, that's all you need. And then you get Paul George back in the second round. So now it's there was a chance for them to actually make a run. And now that's dead because now you're down 3-1. No Kawhi again tonight. Back in Phoenix. They're going to close you out tonight. And now you're home again round 1. It's if you're the owner of that team, it's what are we doing? What are we doing? And it's not Ty Lue's fault. I feel bad for Ty Lue. Ty Lue's a great coach. And he's never had a healthy resume. He's never had a healthy roster. How many games have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George played together? 50? Been here for 3 years. It's insane. It's really, really bad. And you put up with the Kawhi Leonard stuff during the regular season for now. This is when he's supposed to be out there, doing Kawhi things, and he's not.
Well, if you're the owner, what's his name? Steve Ballmer, I think it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What are you doing with this offseason? You just spent $800 billion on a new facility you're building.
And what can you do? What can you do with Kawhi? I mean, how many more years is he locked up for?
I'll check it out.
He signed with them in the summer of 2019.
Let's
So
see. It is what year are we in? We are in
23.
22, 23, right?
Yeah.
He's got next year, and then he has a player option.
Yeah, I don't know what you do. I don't know because I mean I don't know what you do because you go back to that run. So the first year is the bubble year. They lose in the bubble to the Nuggets, which was an upset, obviously, and they almost lost to the Mavericks. Then last year, everyone's hurt, ACL tear for Kawhi. So they don't go far here. Now you got this year where he's losing to the Suns team, and it's no stops losing to Kevin Durant, but again, they could have beat this team. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what you do if you're Bomber, but something's got to be done. I mean, there at least needs to be some serious conversations with Kawhi Leonard and his team in the offseason about what this next year looks like. Like I feel like there needs to be some sort of requirement of games he's playing. Like I don't know. I don't know what you. It's a tricky situation because it's tough because if a guy says he can't go, you can't really do anything.
But he's the poster child for load management.
Mm-hmm.
When you think of load management, what player do comes to mind that started it?
Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi Leonard.
1,000%. 1,000%. I think Kawhi Leonard. So, but listen. Overall, before we go to break, overall, playoffs have been awesome. This has been a really good playoffs. I thought every series had I could pick a great game from every series this year. It was really cool.
So I got Kawhi's stats up real quick right here. This year he missed 30 games.
Better than I thought.
Last year he missed 30 games.
So 52 both years.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Last year he didn't play at all.
Right, because the ACL.
Yes. Yeah. The year before was that what? How many games was that year?
That bubble year?
Yeah. What was it? 50 something?
Something like that.
70 something, wasn't it?
So season set down in March. So yeah, they probably got to 70.
No. That was the 1920. I'm talking the 2021 season. I think they only played
okay. I don't remember. It was like 70. I think something like that. 70.
Well, either way, he only played 52 games that year.
Okay.
In fact, he has not played over 70 games. Hell, he hasn't played over 60 games since 2016.
Wow. I mean, to make that much money for just playing basically.
And in his whole career, he's never played 75 games. His whole career.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things to figure out in Clipperland, but if I'm them, I retain Russ. I think he's been really good for them, and he's playing. I mean, he's playing out of his mind, and it just goes to show you that it wasn't fair. All the blame that was being put on him for that Lakers team, and I think the Lakers really what they've just done. If they've done going back to them real quick, and why I feel like they're making this run is because they've just put a better surrounding cast around LeBron and AD. Like they're just a better defensive team. The pieces make a lot more sense, and that's why it's happening. Russ wasn't the cause of that. It's just Russ wasn't a good fit for what they were trying to do and what they needed to do. But anyway, great playoffs so far. But let's pay some bills real quick, and we'll get back into it. We'll get into the NFL draft on the other side. But we're here to let you know this show is brought to you by BetterHelp. Listen, guys, as we get older, responsibility just keeps getting more and more heavy. There's family stuff, there's kids, there's emotional journeys. Everyone has to process all these things, and doing it by yourself can be difficult. Getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process, especially because we're always growing and changing. Therapy is all about deepening your self-awareness and understanding, because sometimes we don't know what we want or why we react the way we do until we talk through things. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who can take you on that journey of self-discovery wherever you are. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Bremy today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Bremy. Thursday, I mean, I know a lot of basketball's happening. We're talking a lot of b-ball, rightfully so. But don't forget, guys, Thursday we got draft coming up, and the Super Bowl challengers have the 10th pick in the draft. Now, the big question is, what is more important right now? Is it more important to complete your defensive backfield, or do you just go to the direction the NFL is going and just load up offensively and try to complete that backfield through a trade or not? We heard the Derrick Henry whispers this week, and who knows how much truth there is to that. I'm from the school of thought, like we talked about this a little bit, off air, and I'm from the school of thought that if you're going to do that, then why not just go get Bijan Robinson? Like, why not just do that at 10, and then you don't have to worry about paying that $10 million, and you got a guy that you can have for a couple years before you have to worry about paying him significant amount of money. So, like, if you're thinking running back, I think it makes more sense to draft a guy that a lot of people are calling next LaDainian Tomlinson, rather than a guy who is really good and probably really good this year too, but has a lot of tread in those tires. And we know what it is with running backs. We know how that goes and how fast they fall off the cliff.
Especially him. He's
right.
going to just fall off.
Right. Now, I don't know where you stand on this, but like if they draft Bijan Robinson, I'm cool with that. Because I understand why you do need to fill that backfield and get that up, but I'm confident in Howie Roseman that he could pull off some trade or even draft a guy in the second round that come and maybe start for you. Or just or maybe some trade you do. The Buda Baker rumors are out there for Arizona. Maybe go get him. I'm confident that he'll be able to pull something off. And listen, you get Bijan Robinson, you add that to this forte of pieces and weapons. Oh my God! Like my God, how many points are we going to score? Like it's going to be ridiculous. And honestly, isn't that what the NFL is now? Isn't it just now really outscore your opponent? Like the game, the way the game is called, the way the game is refereed, it's geared towards offense. It's not geared towards defense at all. It's just not. It's offensively driven. That's why that call was made on James Bradbury, the goal line, because the game is offensively driven. That call probably doesn't get made 20 years ago. It's made now because the game is geared towards offense. Offense. So if that's the case, let's get Robinson. Let's bring him in here and let's just outscore everybody.
So the game has always been to outscore your opponent. It's just now they're making it easier for you to do that. That's the difference.
Yeah.
So I've heard people say Bijan Robinson is just going to be the next Marshall Faulk. You heard LaDainian Tomlinson. Those two, there's not actually that much difference between the two of them, except one of them has a championship.
Right.
So I'm going to lay out both sides of the argument because there are reasons to do it and there's reasons not to do it. Okay. Number one, the ultimate caveat to all of this. When you get to number 10, if Jalen Carter is there. If Jalen Carter is there, he is the pick. I don't care who else is on the board. It does not matter. If Jalen Carter is there at 10, he is who you draft. So I want to preface it by saying that. Doesn't matter what else is there. I don't care if Bryce Young is still there at 10. If Jalen Carter is there, no matter who else is, he is your pick. It starts at 10 minutes. At 9:59, you should have the card in.
Are you all worried about his off the field stuff?
I mean, I'm not a detective. I'm not an NFL security personnel. I'm not a police officer. I've never even been to University of Georgia's campus. I don't know what's true and what's not true, but the NFL is basically the feds.
Right.
What do you say about the NFL and the FBI?
Just difference in letters.
So they like Howie knows the real story about this guy.
Yeah.
You have N'Kobe Dean, you have Jordan Davis already on this team.
And stop with Jordan Davis real quick, because according to multiple people, he was the guy that kept Jalen Carter in line in college. But that's his person. So it's nice that he plays for the Eagles. So
and then you bring him into a defensive line room that has Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham.
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head right now who the defensive line coach is, but you're bringing him into a good room as well.
Yeah.
So he's the pick. So the short answer to answer your question is I'm not worried about it, because if Howie is drafting him, he knows the real story, and I got all the faith in the world in him.
Right.
So I didn't used to, though, but I do now. So I'm taking Jalen Carter, and I mean, if you could sign up right now for Warren Sapp, would you take it?
Yes, prime Warren Sapp, absolutely.
Because that's what you're looking at with this guy. Maybe even better. So I'm going to get now. The one thing that does concern me about him, he showed up 9 pounds overweight for his pro day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love that.
Yeah.
The biggest knock that I've heard against him from people down at University of Georgia is that the moment he stepped on campus as a freshman, he knew he was going to be in the NFL one day. So he was not always the most engaged player in practice.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at the tape on Saturday.
Right.
Look at what, like, he played in the SEC and he moved grown men against their will at his own will across the field. So I'm taking Jalen Carter. So that's number one. However, if he's not there, I wouldn't hate Bijan. I just don't like the fact of taking a running back at 10. So depending upon who's there, I may slide down to 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 and get him there. I don't mind drafting of the player. I don't love a running back at 10.
Yeah, I don't know
so
where
like
the Cowboys picking this year? Because I think they definitely are interested in Robinson. But I think, like, you let Zeke go, they need someone to pair with Pollard, and they could use that help with that. So I'd be careful. I'd be careful with the Cowboys when it comes to, if it's someone you really want. You don't want to get CeeDee Lamb again.
Yeah, no. The Cowboys are picking at 26. But that's a while. 26.
It is. But if he slips down to, like you said, like a
let's see. So let's just game it out. 11 Titans. They're not going to take him.
No.
Houston Texans. I doubt it. They need way too much other help there. Well, they're not going to take a running back at 12. Green Bay Packers, they don't need them. They won't take them. They have Aaron Jones. They have Corey Dillon. Or not Corey Dillon. AJ Dillon. 14 Patriots.
Maybe.
I have a hard time believing Bill Belichick's going to take a running back at 14, but you never really actually know what he's going to do.
Right.
But I'd be hard pressed. Green Bay, Jets. Well, I guess that would be technically Green Bay. Either way, the Jets or Green Bay, neither one of them are going to take a running back. They just got Breece Hall, I think his name is, for the Jets. Washington. They need a quarterback. They're not going to. I don't think they're going to. Here, that I just have a hard time believing that, say hypothetically, Will Levis is on the board at 10. Will the Eagles trade from 10 to 16 with the Commanders so the Commanders can draft their quarterback? I don't know if they'll let them do that. But now you're talking 16. Yeah, I'm looking at Bijan. 17, the Steelers. I know they have can't remember his name right now. He's from Alabama. The one running back. I know they have a running back from Alabama for the Steelers, but they don't love him. Detroit Lions, they have DeAndre Swift.
Mm-hmm.
19 Tampa Bay. They don't have playoff Lenny anymore, but they're not going to use. They have Baker Mayfield as their quarterback. They're not going to use the 19th pick as a running back with Baker Mayfield.
Right.
Seattle at 20. They have 2 picks, so they also have the number 5 pick from the Russ trade.
Mm-hmm.
I just look at it like if you can get down in the 14, 15, 16, 17 range and recoup maybe a second round pick. Now we're talking Bijan. However, you get to that 10th pick, Will Anderson's gone, Jalen Carter's gone, all the 4 quarterbacks are gone. Unless you're going to trade back, take Bijan.
Yeah.
Now, and I've moved off my position of taking a corner there. I know earlier I had said I wanted to take a corner at 10. I've come off that position. But you need a corner in this draft. You have to draft at least one corner.
Yeah.
You have to draft at least one player at every level of the defense this year.
Yes. Well, I mean, big week, draft Thursday, Sixers Saturday night. Like it's all laid out in front of us. I mean, it's a great time, really, to be a sports fan, especially in the city, because it's a lot of really exciting things coming up. It's gonna be
Hold
fun.
up, Marcus. I'm taking a pulse real quick. The Phillies have a heartbeat.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really. They're not on the radar right now.
Oh, the thing is, I have been reinvested in baseball with the changes and the pitch clock.
Yeah, I mean, my I got one eye on them, but I only got 2, so I don't want to go cross-eyed. So I'm paying attention a little bit.
That's why I got the 5 TV setup here for that reason. I mean, you've seen pictures. I've
seen it.
But I think we're gonna get Bryce soon.
She's getting back soon.
If I put
the Turner's starting to heat up. How about Bryson Stott?
Yeah. If I put the over/under on May 13th for Bryce Harper's return, what would you do?
What's today? 25th?
May 13th.
I'll go over. I'll say around the 15th or 16th. Just over. I think that timeline, that's a good number. The timeline's there. I think slightly over. I think mid-May is when we get Bryce back. Which is an insane thought, thinking that we thought we wouldn't have him back till at the earliest the All-Star break. So that's awesome. But I got nothing else.
Oh, real quick, the Aaron Rodgers trade.
Oh yeah, that's
newsworthy.
Yeah. I mean, it finally gets done. I think both sides got what they wanted. This immediately makes the Jets a contender, obviously. That's a really tough division now. You got the Jets.
The AFC is a problem.
Got the Dolphins, got the Bills. It'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out.
Whoever comes out of the AFC, you're battle tested.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It doesn't matter who you are. But I created a list of all the quarterbacks in the NFC.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it's abysmal.
Yeah,
now,
not great.
So I ranked all 16. However, it's really the top 12 because I put 13, 14, 15, and 16 as Panthers, Falcons, Commanders, 49ers. We don't really know who those quarterbacks are going to be. We know the Panthers are going to take one with number 1 overall pick. Falcons, we don't know what they're going to do. Commanders, we don't know what they're going to do. And 49ers, we don't know who it's going to be. So that's why I left those 4 as just the teams. So here's the top 12 as I see it in order. Number 1, Jalen Hurts. Number 2, Matt Stafford. Number 3, Derek Carr. Number 4, Dak Prescott. Number 5, Kirk Cousins. Number 6, Jared Goff. Number 7, Kyler Murray. Number 8, Geno Smith. Number 9, Daniel Jones. Number 10, Justin Fields. Number 11, Baker Mayfield. Number 12, Jordan Love.
I think Jordan Fields make a significant jump this year. I get it for now, but I think he makes a major jump this year. I think he's going to make a Jalen Hurts type jump this year.
The thing is that Jalen Hurts is a clear and runaway the best quarterback in the conference.
Yeah, with Rodgers going, absolutely. No Rodgers, no Brady. Yes.
Yeah, and I would say that Stafford, Carr, Prescott, and Cousins are all kind of the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Dak probably has a little bit more mobility than the rest of those guys.
Yeah.
But like Kirk Cousins and Derek Carr, they're basically the same person. Derek Carr is a little bit better because I've seen less of him and I have less of a biased opinion against him like I do with Kirk Cousins.
Right.
And Matt Stafford, I believe he's the only one on that list with a Super Bowl ring. Mm-hmm. So I have to put him at number 2. I have to.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone better than him right now.
Just Jalen. Yeah. I mean, like I said, Panthers, Bryce Young, he's a rookie. I can't slate him in that high. Right. Falcons, we don't even know what they're going to do. Commanders, same. And I mean, Trey Lance, that's it. He gets like an incomplete. It's like when you turn in a paper in school and you just get an incomplete.
Right.
That's what Trey Lance is. How am I supposed to grade this guy?
Right. And I don't think he has a great work ethic. I don't see him panning out.
No, and Brock Purdy, they say he's probably not even going to play this year.
Right.
So what am I supposed to pencil in here? Sam Darnold?
Right. Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think it's a good list. I don't know what Jordan Love is, so I can't speak on him, but I think Justin Fields will be electric this year.
However, the AFC is a who's who of future Hall of Famers.
It really is. It really is. It feels it's giving me Western Conference NBA of like 5 to 7 years ago.
Yeah,
it's just loaded.
Real quick before we get out of here, because we haven't spoken about it on the record yet. There's a lot of money that got signed at the NovaCare complex yesterday. Jalen Hurts inked his deal.
It's officially inked.
Yeah,
I saw him in his nice church suit.
Did you see the per year cap hit?
Yeah, I think it's like really favorable for the
Eagles. It is a joke. It's like $6 million and then $13 million and then like $18 million.
Yep.
Now, I'm not an accountant. I don't know what they did.
Yeah.
I just know that like for Howie, 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2.
No.
It equals something else.
It's a great deal. And like we talked about, off air, I love the years. 5 years is a great number.
I was really worried they were going to give him like an 8 to 10 year deal.
Yeah, 5 years is a great number. Let's see where we are when he's 29.
He plays his whole contract out, he gets to hit free agency again before he turns 30.
Right. Let's see where we're at. Let's see what we're doing. So I love it. I love it.
Reconvene next week, same time. Let's do it.
At Marques tweeting everywhere.
At Justin M. Rochelle on the Bluebird app.
Brad Memory Pod everywhere. BradMorshaw.com for the merch. Please check out BetterHelp. And until next time, you be with us, you be against us. You're never going to stop us. Late.